Okay, so we finished sewing the corners, and we remember how we sewed 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 4 seams that all come into the ultimate dot. So now trimming and grading. So when we sewed the lower collar, or the lower, this is the upper collar, lower collar. We sewed that to the jacket, and then I trimmed this seam to 3/8 and pressed it open. So then we sewed the upper collar to the facing lining unit, and then we press that open. Okay, this is a sample, so I'm just pressing it. You guys can make sure you'll want to use your organza press cloths. Okay, so I'm just pressing this seam open to match the other side. And this is this is a very different way to do a collar, because typically your seam allowances here go up into the collar or down between the garment and a facing. But we do it this way because it's typically bulky. So with a tailored collar, we do some techniques that will help us with the bulk. Okay, so let me get this done, and then I'll show you. Okay, so now I have the 2 neck seams pressed, and I have staggered the clips here so that I don't weaken the seam too much in just one area. Okay, so I've just got a little bit left here to do. So make sure you get a lot of good steam going. Okay, all right. And if you have really bulky knit or wool and it's not pressing, you can steam it and then put this on top, or a smaller part to this. But the wood helps hold the steam in to help shape your garment. Okay, so now I've got that done. Okay, then on the outside edge, I went ahead and trimmed and graded. And as you can see here, this part is what people will see. And so that's 3/8. And can you see this extra fabric here? That was my tailor blister that I did. I picked up extra fabric so that I can favor the edge. But that's how I trimmed it. So 3/8 on this side. The undercollar is 1/4. And I did that whole thing. And also we trim this and here, and see how we do the corners. The corners, we go like this, and then we go again like that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here before I turn this is I am going to press the points. Okay, so I've got this point here. Okay, and I can go ahead and do this whole side because it's such a short little sample. But see, you want to press this open good. Okay. All right. And when I trimmed and graded here, you can see how I reversed it. So from here over, it's 1/4, and this side is 3/8. And then as soon as I got to this point where the lapel turns, this becomes my 3/8, and this becomes my 1/4. So it's smaller. And I did the same thing on this side. And I just randomly decided where to put those marks. So see how 1/4 inch here, 3/8. But on this side, this one is more of 1/4, and this one is more like the 3/8. That one's a little bit long. So anyway, so I went ahead and trim that, do the 1/4 and 3/8, and then I pressed the point here. Now I'm going to press this point on this side. So this is the point of the notch, and sometimes the notch part will be pointed and sometimes it won't, but the collar is pointed. So now I'm going to do the collar, and I'm going to just press my seams open like you've been taught. Okay, all right, and then now I'll go to this over on this side, press this open, and I'm gonna start down here so I'll go ahead and press this seam open while I'm doing the point. And be careful not to burn yourself. See, and I've got some good steam going. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and press this part of the seam open as well. And I like to do it here on this point presser because I can really get a nice sharp press. And see, I've got 1/4 inch on the one side, 3/8 on the other. Okay. Okay. And I just want you to notice here how I've trimmed out some of that extra there. See, like right here, trimmed out some of this seam. Because the name of the game is get out as much, trim out as much bulk as you can. Okay, so here's that. Let's get this going. Okay. All right, it's getting a little hot here. Okay, now let's go on this side. Do this point. So when you're tailoring a jacket and doing a tailored collar like this, trimming and grading is extremely important because you're trying to get out your bulk, and so is pressing. You're pressing it with steam. See, now you can get another little clapper thing and hold that in. But it seems to be working pretty good here. See, and this would be very difficult to do with an all polyester because you can't, you'd have to almost stitch it or top stitch or something to keep everything lined up. Okay, now let's do this little part on this side. This part here of the, and see, I've got some, see this extra, I'm gonna trim that out as well. This has already been trimmed out. This one, we left a little extra, so I'll trim that out. See, and here's this corner right here. And before I forget, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to trim that, and then I think I'll go ahead and take the tip of that off. Okay, all right. Now we just got this one side left to do. And then we'll turn it, favor our edges, and see how it looks. Okay. I love point pressers. They're wonderful things. I would invest in one, but you may have to go online to find it. Okay, all right. So now let's go ahead and turn that, and here, let me just get settled here. Okay, so now, and you want to get a nice point turner, but I like to put my thumbnail as far into there as I can, and then kind of try to push that out a little bit. And remember, we sewed in red. Lovely, lovely color for this. So, and remember, I did a really sharp, I used a Sharpie to make that dot so that you could see it. Well, you can really see it. So here's that. See how you can see that Sharpie? So you guys use a Frixion pen. You can use chalk, or tailor's tacks actually work really well.